Welcome to the Dialogue Internet Radio Network and another episode of Dialogue Podcast with Abel Rodriguez. Hello and welcome to the Dialogue Internet Radio Network. I'm Abel Rodriguez and this is Dialogue with Abel Rodriguez. Yes, my podcast. I found some very interesting guests to have on today, and I want to welcome them right now. They are from the LIbre initiative, and this is Lidia, Karla, and Brenda. Wave, everybody.
Hello. Hi.
And they are quite active in the community. They do great work teaching English as a second language, and also something really important to our community, especially those who maybe would need help with financial things, about how to deal with checkbooks, how to save money, how to look for a bargain, that kind of stuff. They do financial literacy. So we want to welcome Karla, who is the executive director
Yes.
of the LIbre initiative. Welcome.
Thank you, Abel. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we love all your shows, your content. So thanks for having us on
Thanks
today.
a lot, man. And you guys are a good example of you wanted to find a podcaster that maybe was in line with kind of stuff you want to do.
Absolutely.
And you found me, so
found
I'm
you.
really happy about that. Thanks a lot. So first of all, tell us a little bit about the LIbre initiative.
Yeah. So the LIbre initiative was actually started in 2011. We started here in El Paso in 2016, and our founder was actually his family migrated from Mexico, and they were migrant farm workers in the Washington area. He was a councilman in his community, police officer, also worked at the White House, and he was provided an opportunity to actually start a nonprofit organization that would empower the Hispanic community, break down barriers, for example, like teaching ESL, hopefully that they would get a better job, teach financial literacy, making sure that they're financially sound and not reliant on anybody else like the government. So we've been around for quite some time, since 2011, and we're currently in 11 states right now.
Wow. So, I mean, this is an organization that's nationwide.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's
It
fantastic, and I'm glad we have something like that here in town. So, I was following along, and I did a little investigative work on the internet, and it was interesting to see what y'all were doing. But you got into something, involved in something that's really dear to my heart, and it's taxing entities of the county of El Paso that seem to think that, hey, they went from a Mercedes, which, is pretty top of the line, and now they want a Lamborghini.
Yes, exactly.
And the thing is that taxing entities in this town in general, I believe, as a person over the age of 64 now, are out of control.
Absolutely.
Out of control. I pay the water bill in this house, and I go, man, did I use that much water?
I only showered once this week.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we were
It's not a
talking
bad
about.
thing. And so. But anyway, so I look at the bill, and there are fees that are just a disguise
Yes,
for taxes.
exactly.
But they're fees. Okay. Then I look at how much I pay just for using the water, and I'm like, okay, that part of it's fair. And then I look at everything that's added into it, and I'm going, ya basta. Come on, man. I mean, you can't nickel and dime a community such as El Paso, and also. We got people here working for $15, which isn't too bad, but it's not that good.
No.
It's barely double what minimum wage is,
Right.
and minimum wage still puts you close to or under the poverty level in this country.
Exactly.
And yet, we are one of the highest taxed entities in the state of Texas.
And country also.
So talk to us a little bit about why you even got into this, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of what you're doing. But how did this become an issue for you guys?
The taxing part, or
Well, just in general, like, were you when
Yeah.
you saw that in the paper, like everyone else, and said, "What the hell?"
Yeah, so I mean, specifically what we're working on right now is the property taxes. And like you mentioned, El Paso is one of the highest taxed communities, not only in the state, but in the country. We also have a zip code in El Paso, which is 79901, which is actually one of the poorest zip codes in the country.
And has been for many, many years.
Exactly, that has not changed. In Texas, we actually, in the top 25 zip codes in Texas, we actually have 3 zip codes in El Paso that are the poorest zip codes in Texas. And yet we are the highest taxed community, like I said, in the state and country. And so property taxes are a very contentious topic in El Paso. I mean, a lot of people are still going down to Trowbridge and fighting their property tax bills. And now they're trying to tax us again, right? So there are 5 taxing entities, and one of the taxing entities, which is UMC, or public hospital, is proposing.
People were asking actually some of the comments that were put on some of the stuff that I shared yesterday, where some guy said, "What is UMC?" Which really kind of freaked me out,
Yes.
Because if it wasn't, by the way, before we continue, if it wasn't for the voters of El Paso, we wouldn't have such a facility there as we have now, along with, you have to bring up Elliot Shapley, who, was really starting initially all the stuff that happened that now is this medical complex that has popped up, there in, South Central. And so that part of it's good. But as it goes along and it grows, it doesn't have to become a Godzilla or King Kong, it's got to be manageable. But it is the county hospital.
Yes, it is. It's a public hospital, previously known as Thomason. So I think a lot of people still call it Thomason, actually.
I do.
And so
they don't like it.
Yes, they want to be known as UMC. But yes, previously known as Thomason, the public hospital here, originally, founded and started for indigent care, which basically means people that cannot afford, medical care. You could go there and they would actually, help you cover those costs. Now, like you said, it's kind of turning into like a Godzilla, right? They want to do a lot of other things. They added a children's hospital, certainly promised the community that, if you build it, they will come kind of mentality. The children's hospital actually declared bankruptcy in 2015. They still have not paid back $48 million that they already borrowed from the taxpayers, and now they're asking for $400 million more. And so that's really why we jumped on this issue. It's something that directly affects every single El Pasoan. And this is a county tax. It would be a county tax. So this would affect anyone from Vinton all the way to Fabens. So it is a pretty huge deal. And so my team and I have been working for the last few weeks trying to inform people about what this really would mean, which the bottom line is it would mean a 22% increase in your property taxes. And that is a pretty substantial increase.
Sounds like a credit card percentage.
It does, yes.
No, it's funny, but I mean, people get a credit card and they realize, I got money, I got this. And then, they get that first bill and that 22% jumps in there.
Exactly.
And predatory, Mm-hmm. Credit is not sometimes all that it's made up to be.
It's not.
Right.
If you don't read the fine print, even when you buy a house, you got to read everything. And then you found out, what do you mean I need an inspection in order for the, okay. And then the inspector, I need $500 for the inspection. All this.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got their hand in the pudding, not even a finger. They got their hand in the pudding.
Exactly.
Which, if that's how we've evolved, so be it. But there are still places to try to get a good deal out there if you can. Now, going back to this thing, I will tell you that I come from the newsroom. I was in the news.
Yes.
Working for the news departments in Spanish and English. And I will tell you that I still get people that like to come and sing like little birdies to me about stuff that's going on, and I'm gonna call UMC out right now for another issue.
Okay.
And that's that they have cut the diabetic program that they had going on over there.
Oh wow.
And when I say cut, they stopped it.
Interesting.
And why would you do that in a Hispanic community where we cry about obesity, we cry about sugar, we cry about all this stuff, and yet, well, those are future patients. Well, I guess they don't pay enough anymore for that.
Right.
So then, what's the next category? Mm-hmm. Well, what are they doing? $444 million for cancer.
Yes.
Because,
Right.
you know, if you look at it as us, oh, it's a terrible disease, you know, it's all that kind of deal, and that's fine. But it's also for those in the industry of working in cancer research, drug development, any of that stuff. It is money to them,
Exactly.
and it's top dollar. Unfortunately, I lost my father to Hodgkin's disease. He had $1 million policy, and by the time he was gone, $995,000. You know,
Yeah.
just short of the million.
For medical.
It's like anything else that puts a facade of, hey, we're your hospital, hey, we're your doctor, hey, we're your this, you're that. That's the marketing end of it.
Right.
But the bottom line is, even to those people, why does a company like that pay a marketer to try
Right.
to get more what?
Business.
Because the bottom line is, it really is about
Right.
business. So,
Right.
and another thing too, you know, if there was enough money being paid to the workers of this fine community and county,
Right.
it wouldn't maybe be as big an issue, but it would be an issue, but it wouldn't be as big an issue. But the problem is that a lot of people having their rent go up, the gas is finally coming down, but it was killing them. The food costs,
Yes.
child care,
Yes.
health care, drop all that in on $10 an hour, even $15 an hour.
Right.
And then what do? They sit at home on the weekends?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just one of those things. They want to participate. They want to go to concerts. They want to go to Wet and Wild Water World. They want to go to all that. But when they got all this other expense, and then they go and they said, look, two of you can go to Wet and Wild and we'll be outside making carne asada in the parking lot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
talk a little more about the impact to the voter as far as and the taxpayer on property taxes. Talk a little more about that.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Brenda, who's on my team, and she's been out there door knocking. We've been out there door knocking, talking to folks, about this issue, because unfortunately there are a lot of people that don't even know this is happening. They had no idea that this was actually on the table.
Why do you think that is?
They don't want us to know.
And
It's
go ahead.
nowhere on the mainstream media, or I guess they don't publicize it in such a way that they want the people's actual voices to be heard. They don't want to hear actual opinions. Usually, when they raise our taxes, they do it through what's called certificates of obligation, meaning they don't ask for voter approval.
Hey, we know about those
Yes.
things.
Yes, no voter.
The city's just as bad, and I believe that you guys are on the right track. That stuff should go to the voter, period.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And how can you not have a ceiling on a number and get away with not going to the
Absolutely.
voters with $444 million on the table?
Right.
And I'm also going to be very critical about the CEO of UMC. He is a very he wants more. And as a CEO of a medical complex, honestly, what are you going to do with that old building, guy? That hospital is older than old. It may look nice, it may be well maintained and all that, but after this, what are you going to do and say? Well, since you gave us $444 million for the cancer, why don't we just go ahead and drop another $444 million on a new hospital?
Right.
Yes. So it's like, where does it stop, right?
Exactly.
Where does it stop?
Well, it stops when all the taxpayers finally say,
Yeah,
Hasta
basta.
aquí llegó.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, basta. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
we don't have that kind of. I mean, you got all your organizations that are out there, the human rights guys, and how long has I forget his name, the guy with the goatee from Human Rights that has been out there like for over 25 years, fighting the good fight.
Right.
And where are we as Chicanos on human rights?
Yeah.
Where are we on on defenders and supporters of what is important to us? In my time, we had Carmen Felix. I don't know if you ever knew who Carmen Felix was. She was always fighting the housing problem and all that kind of stuff. You had certain individuals. You had a guy named Chuy de la O, okay, That guy was just and he was a trip. If you ever get a chance, I'm sure you'll find some stuff on YouTube. I know you guys are younger. Look up Chuy de la O, and you'll see he even ran for mayor.
Oh wow!
But he was a character. But he was there expounding, right? Mm-hmm. Telling them what our situations are.
Right.
Why did we have communities on a street called Saipan, right there next to the freeway, that when it would rain, the water would not only flood in their thing, but would fill up their homes up to 4 feet?
Oh gosh.
Where they finally said, there's a problem down there, so let's pay them for their houses and move them and fix it. Why does it take that kind of stuff?
Right.
Why do people live in arroyos?
Yes,
Right.
I know, right?
So Abel,
I don't understand that at all.
also, speaking of that about the arroyos, yesterday that I got a signature, a gentleman was like, we live in this neighborhood that it's poorly done. All the money's going to the west side. We're not getting attention from anybody. And I was telling him, well, if this bond goes through, it's for $346 million, but it can go up to $400 million. But what's not being said is that with inflation rates and interest, it can be a project of $536 million that are just going to be embedded in your property taxes.
It's increased costs.
Yes,
Exactly.
And then what do they use against that? Well, if we don't do it now, the cost even
Right.
2-3 years are going to be more than that. That the game they play. Okay, the game they play. Government plays this game about we did a study, and then we took the study to the people, and we have focus groups, and then we came up with finally what this is, and now we present it to you. So the politician, who probably didn't even read the damn thing, believes the person that did all the due diligence and believes that this is the best outcome that's presented. There's no discussion. Mm-hmm. There's no anything. You've seen it at City Hall.
Absolutely.
One day they're honoring you with an award, and the next day they're clubbing you like a baby seal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like tapping you on the head. They are trying to eliminate you and what you guys are trying to do by saying they're crazy, we don't believe in them. Once again, and let's talk about this. So
absolutely.
I'll get you out in time to get to your meeting. Let's talk about this. Okay, so there you go. You get out there with these petitions. Mm-hmm. You're out there moving dirt and trying to get people to listen and all that. And then you find out that the El Paso delegation is not supporting you about property taxes, and they're in the thick of things anyway. They know what this UMC is all about.
Right.
And yet, because they don't like you guys because of whatever they found out about you guys, they won't support something that would give relief to the taxpayer. And let's bring up the taxpayer.
Right.
Oh man, did you see us all running down the street when they gave us some pennies back? The biggest tax cut in history. And then you go and it's 48 cents on $100. Mm-hmm. Man, where you can stick those 48 cents, guys. But that's what I'm just telling you. Don't do that. It's like when people get 3% raises every year.
Right.
And it's called cost of living. Mm-hmm. BS cost of living. It's much higher than that.
Yes, it is.
Right? So, talk about that, because, you're playing politics here.
Absolutely. And since we've been here since 2016, we really haven't gotten involved in any type of policy issue, because our goal was to really empower the Hispanic community. And we're doing that through financial literacy, through ESL, through, having town halls. We also have internships and community service opportunities. But this issue affects everybody. It affects everybody in El Paso, no matter if you have a D, an R, an I next to your name. It doesn't matter. This affects everybody. And so for us, one of the issues that was really kind of in our faces was the lack of transparency on how they tried to pass this through. Right. And I'm sure everybody has heard about the leaked recording and everything like that. And so, that's just a slap in the face to the El Paso community, to the people that live here, and also very disrespectful. They need to bring this to the people. Going back, Yeah.
you think everybody knows about the leak?
I don't think so.
But tell, what is it? I don't.
Yes.
I don't even know about the leak.
Yeah.
And
So
I thought I knew everything.
Yeah. So during the UMC, they have a board of managers, just like most entities do.
Right.
They were actually voting on this, and so they were going to vote on this, move forward. All the board voted yes, and they actually did not place it on the agenda in the beginning, and then once the recording was leaked, they placed it back on the agenda, so that people could actually know what was going on. And the only reason that we found out was because the person that was at that meeting and leaked the recording to the press. That's really the only reason. I mean, and so, people are kind of up in arms about that. Why didn't you tell us you were trying to do this and move forward? And, like Lydia mentioned, certificates of obligation are a very dangerous loophole for us taxpayers. They can move forward with this high dollar amount without voter approval, right? But now we the people have the opportunity to fight it, right? I mean, you see on social media, everyone's complaining about their taxes and all this other stuff, inflation, gas prices. You know what? I mean, candidly speaking, El Paso, you now have the opportunity to fight something. We now have the opportunity to do that, but we can't do it without your help. And we're, now we can gather the petition of the signatures to actually fight this and put it on the ballot and vote for or against this, which, LIbre, we are against such a high imposition of taxes on the taxpayer. We're opposed to this, but now we have something, we have an opportunity to fight this thing, and we just need people to help us do it, right? So, everyone that's kind of complaining on social media and saying their taxes are too high, now we have the opportunity to actually fight this thing. So we need to rally together and really try to get this done by September 2nd.
Tell us a little bit about your boots on the ground. What are you hearing out there, and has anything surprised you?
That's a great question, Abel. Actually, yes. I haven't had encounters with individuals that were actually packing when I was trying to get the signature. They're like, we're leaving this city because of the property taxes. We're like, what? I'm like, can we have your signature? So people are leaving. Not only that, I also spoke to a realtor yesterday. She's like, a lot of my clients are having to sell their homes. They cannot pay the property taxes. Another realtor has a client of hers living with her because she couldn't afford her house payment anymore or the property taxes.
That's amazing.
Yes, indeed. And then I also have those people that actually, it breaks my heart, that tell me, mija, I'm not going to sign your petition. That's a big battle you're fighting. I'm like, well, at least just give us your signature. We're trying to do something about it. They're like, I'm not. So I was telling my director, I'm like, that breaks my heart, being in the sun and getting those type of responses. I wanted to cry. But I'm like, okay, you're here, you have to keep moving. And another thing that I want to add, we're getting engagement on social media, we're getting hearts, we're getting likes, but what we need is signatures, and we need signatures from registered voters. Because if you want a quality of life, we need those signatures. I don't know where we're going to end up if we have to pay this property taxes.
I'm going to end up in Santa Teresa is where I'm going to end up.
Yes, God knows where. So,
but you understand,
yes.
That mentality is there, And Santa Teresa, when it first started, was a high roller community. Mm-hmm. Their golf course was ridiculous. So they were building that kind of stuff, and then it all went away. So now people in El Paso that don't want to pay that kind of tax. Right. New Mexico taxes, you'll knock off almost a fourth, maybe a little more than a fourth. Mm-hmm. Knock off a fourth of what you're paying right now. Someone's going to go, oh wow, man! Now I can buy my car. I can buy a car. That kind of thinking. So
exactly.
Abel, if I may add one more thing.
No, go ahead.
Yesterday we were in another meeting with an association in the morning at McDonald's, and the lady's like, I'm on a fixed income, mija. I'm an elderly person. I don't have money to buy myself a dress. So it's thinking about the elderly too with fixed incomes. Like, this is affecting everyone, and something needs to be done.
I will tell you that I'm surprised how the El Paso market during COVID was ridiculous. They couldn't sell enough homes. Now it's changing because the rate went up, the percentage rate went up, and all that kind of deal. But you got people that got into a house even 2-3 years ago that are having to get out.
Exactly.
this thing about the American dream in your home can become an American nightmare if you can't pay. And it's not even, I can make the payment on the house, I just can't afford the taxes.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, and as a country did it, isn't that why we left England? Because we didn't want to get taxed. I don't know.
That's
we
exactly why we
threw
left.
frickin' tea into a bay somewhere, or
Yes.
they did. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We were already here.
Exactly.
But you know, so tell us. You're talking about you need signatures. What can they do right now? Can they call you somewhere? Would you go get a signature? By the way, I got 2 signatures upstairs. As soon as we're finished here, they're gonna go on there.
Thank you.
And but that's what I mean. Now you're in that mode where you got to go fishing wherever the fish
Yes.
tell you I'm here. Come fishing.
So I'll tell you some, and then my director will finish
Okay,
the
go
rest,
ahead.
if that's okay, Karla.
Absolutely.
So first things first, you must be a registered voter.
Hold
That's
it
a
up right
must.
around just hold
Ooh.
the
paper.
yeah. There you go. See.
So that's the
good right
first
there.
thing.
Right there.
The signatures, in order for them to count, you must be a registered voter. That's number 1.
Right.
You can either drop them off at our office, which is 1155 Westmoreland, Suite 212, El Paso, Texas 79925.
All right.
Or you can email us at EPC. No, sorry. It's not
No, go
EPC.
ahead.
It's
EP,
EP
yeah,
Libre.
go ahead.
No.
EPUMC Libre at blibre.org.
Right.
But you know, like Brenda said, we're literally driving to people's businesses and homes to get these signatures.
Right.
I mean, we're really on a mission here because we want to keep up the good fight. And I spoke to someone yesterday who was like, listen, Karla, like this is like a David and Goliath kind of story here. I mean, you guys are going up against a lot of people that want to see this thing go through. And so I realize that. I mean, I do realize that. I'm very fortunate to have a great team that's, behind me, and they're out there in the sun door knocking. We have had a lot of community members that are like, hey, Karla, give me a couple of sheets. I'll get my neighbors to sign it. That's really how we're going to win this thing.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we are. There's 12 of us on my team. With a city this big, I mean, we're not going to get to every single door in this city. We just can't.
Can they sign? Can they sign it on the net? No,
Unfortunately not. So,
Right.
I mean, obviously with anything that, government related, they try to make it as complicated as possible, right? So unfortunately, we can't accept any electronic signatures. We do have, if you follow us at Libre Texas on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, we do have a lot of videos, a lot of content. There's also a link that you can click on to actually download it, sign it, print it. We'll come and pick it up. But really, that's how we're going to be able to get this thing done, is if people reach out to us and say, hey, bring me some sheets to my business, which there are a lot of business owners who this will affect, right? Small businesses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're like, bring me some sheets. I'll have my customers sign it. That's really the only way we're going to get this thing done.
Right. So can they go somewhere or call somewhere or...
Yeah, absolutely. They can call me. So my name's Karla, 915-218-4692. You can also email me at ksierra@blibre.org, and it's BELIBRE.org. I mean, I'm out there meeting with people so that we can collect signatures. If it's one signature, I will go to your place of business and your home and go get it, because we really are in a time crunch. These are all due September 2nd, and we want to make sure that we win this thing. I mean, we want to make sure that we make a very loud statement to our legislators, our leaders in this community, that we are paying attention and that El Paso can rally together and make sure that we're holding people accountable.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have no problem going and getting on a microphone anywhere. And I represent probably the person that you're talking about, that fixed income, trying to make little pesitos here and there, and that kind of deal. And I would have no problem reading the Riot Act.
Thank you.
Abel.
So, yes.
Also, if somebody wants to volunteer,
Okay.
please reach out. Reach out to Karla. If you know me, you can always reach out to me. We need people, or if we can just drop these off, the petition forms at your business, please reach out to us. We need to make movement. We need to make a change.
Yeah.
I also want to note that you do not have to be a property owner in order to sign this petition. A lot of people wonder that. I don't know property, I can't. You just need to be registered to vote. Okay.
Right. And once again, it goes to the confusion of people not understanding how things are right now as far as,
Right.
you know, when I was growing up, we would do caravans through the Mexican-American areas of the city and get them to pay the poll tax to vote. Huh? They had to pay, I forgot what it was, but I mean, they had to pay and get the receipt to be able to go vote.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we've come a long way. okay?
Absolutely.
And you know, I'm glad you guys are out there. I come from the movimiento of the of LULAC and GI Forum and you know, the Brown Berets a little bit, and you know, knowing all these people, and it's just good to know that you guys are there fighting the good fight for la gente, for nuestra raza, and knowing that the bulk of the bulk of people that's gonna get affected by this kind of stuff is us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thanks for being with me today, and I
Thank you.
appreciate it. And I just want to let you all know that we've been talking with the LIbre initiative here on Dialogue with Abel Rodriguez, my podcast. We want to say thank you to Lidia and to Karla and to Brenda for being on today, and we'll get this up as soon as possible. We know we're on the deadline with everything, but thanks for coming out, and let's see, you know, if we can bring you back on and see how you're doing, and
Thank you.
and all the way till the end, whatever the deadline is, and you know, you can just keep rattling the cage.
Absolutely. And
Right.
thank you for the opportunity, Abel. We know that you're a leader in this community, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here because honestly, you know, any little bit helps. So if there's anyone out there that has, you know, give us the opportunity to present, even if it's, you know, 2 people, 5 people, I mean, I will be there to make sure that we get this information out to our community.
Yes, thank you, Abel. Thank you. And reach
right.
out. Sign the petition, please.
Thank you for listening to Dialogue Podcast with Abel Rodriguez. Remember to like us on Facebook at Dialogue Podcast with Abel Rodriguez, or you can email us at Abel, A-B-E-L, at dialogueep.com. And remember to catch all of our podcasters on dialogueep.com.